Hi, this is Bob. This video is on the ATP Aviation Hub mobile application. In this video, we're going to talk about getting started with the hub, using my library, and syncing your content. I'll be doing a second lesson on profile and compliance. Some of the main features of the mobile application are that it operates on Android, Windows, and Apple iOS systems, both the phones and the tablets. In addition, it'll work on Windows notebooks. You can access your complete My Library content and also your profile and compliance. You can access them online on the mobile device. The device will also store My Library and profile and compliance records locally on the device for access when you're offline. Local storage can be synced when you have an internet access. You can resync the content, or if your device is offline all the time, you can set up that physical media can be sent to you and that this physical media can be used for the update. The mobile application hooks to the Aviation Hub, and your admins in the Aviation Hub have the ability to create backup medium and send it out to disconnected systems. Of course, if the remote computer has access once in a while, intermittent access to internet, it can sync them using the internet. So let's talk about getting started. So there's 4 steps on getting started in the system. The first is to set up the mobile application to your users in the Aviation Hub. In the Aviation Hub, each of your users has an account and a login, and you've got a setting screen where you can set what that user has access to. And you need to set up the mobile app for them. There's no limit to the number of people that you can set mobile apps for. The next step is to actually download and install the mobile application on your device. So whether it's the Google Store or the Apple Store, but you'll want to actually get the application and download it to your device. Once you have the application on your device, you can launch the app and log in using your ATP Aviation Hub login, and then it'll ask you to set a personal PIN. And then going forward, you don't need the password, you just need the PIN to log in. So I've got some pasting here from the Aviation Hub. In the Aviation Hub, you'd come up to the corner here and click on Settings. Settings will get you to your list of employees. You go to your employee and you click View to get to their settings. And when you get to their settings, you click Edit and the mobile app. Let's take a look at what that looks like in the Aviation Hub. So we're going to come up here to Settings. And got one user in here. We're going to go to View for the user settings for this user. Come on down here to the information services that are available to this user, and we want to add the mobile application. So click Edit. MAUs, the mobile application. Click on that. Click Save. And now under Services, the mobile application is available for this user. Let me switch back to my slideshow. So again, Settings, get to the users you want, view the user, and edit and add the mobile application to the users. So that was step 1. Step 2 was to download. So this is a screenshot from from my phone on Android. Search for ATP Aviation Hub on the store for the device that you're operating it. You should get this ATP Aviation Hub and just click Install to install the application on your device. After you've installed it, you launch it, and you'll see the first screen on the left, which is the login screen. You'll want to click on the Register it here, which will show you the registration screen. Use your username and password from the Aviation Hub to register. This is top selection using ATP credentials. And the next screen will ask you to add a name for your device and set your PIN. This import, register via import, is if you have a device that's disconnected from the internet all the time and you want to set it up for getting backups by physical media. The register via import will give you the code and the numbers, the ID numbers you need to enter this device. Because the device isn't connected to the internet this time, this device can be entered through the admin panel on the Aviation Hub. But almost everybody's going to be connected from time to time, so just register, set your PIN, save that, and you're ready to go. Now let's talk about using My Library. So you'll log into the application, and after you've logged in, you'll come to these screens for the My Library. Now the screens are set up depending on if you're online or offline. In this case, I'm online. And you see my signal bar up here. I've got Wi-Fi hooked up. So you have two tabs, On Device and My Library. This My Library tab is the exact same content as on the My Library tab in the Aviation Hub. All of the content that you have on the Aviation Hub is accessible right here through My Library on your mobile device. You can scroll through the list. Or you can click on the little magnifying glass to open a search panel and search. So in this case, I typed in Beechcraft B200, and it brought me right down to the B200. Under it is the publications. Layout is exactly the same as in My Library in the Hub, where you'll see the manufacturers, the models, the publication types, and under that the actual publications. So this screen on the left shows, is basically just scroll down a little bit from the prior screen for the B200. Here's the publications. I open the master minimum equipment list grouping. Here's my MMEL. I click on the little menu button, and it gives me a menu of what I can do. I can view the document. I can sync it. In other words, make a copy and bring it locally. Or I can mark it for sync so that the next time that I am syncing, that it'll download. So three options: view the document, sync it immediately, or mark it to sync. In other words, bring a copy down local the next time I sync. This is what the document looks like when it's been opened. The one on the left is a picture of the document. You can use your fingers to pinch to zoom in or zoom out. You can also use your fingers to flick the page or drag it left or right to bring in the next page. You can also do a keyword search up at the top with a left and right hit after a keyword search. Or if you hit the little menu item up here, it will open the table of contents and allow you to scroll through and jump to any content based on the table of contents. The little X to the right is to close the document. So this is the document viewer for a phone on the mobile device. The other tab is the On Device. This is content that has been synced from My Library down to your device, lives locally on the device, so it can be accessed whether you're online or offline. Here's a picture of offline mode. You'll see the little airplane up here that I'm in airplane mode, no signal, contact. So the My Library is grayed out. I can't get to the live My Library up in the hub, but everything that I have synced is on my device, and all my content is here, and I can open maintenance publications, scroll on down, and actually open the documents that are stored locally on my device. So I've been talking about syncing as we've been going through, so let's talk a little bit about syncing and how you do sync content for your local device. So when you have internet connection and you're on My Library, you can scroll down and there's different selection points using the little menu on the right. So here is the manufacturer I selected, and if I select the little table of contents here, the little menu for the aircraft, it will open a window that asks if I want to sync the aircraft. Now the manufacturer. So that if I click here and hit sync, I'll get all of my Champion aircraft content. Alternately, I may just want to bring the information down for one aircraft. So the 7 ACA If I click sync here, and there's a picture of the box at the right of what it looks like, this will sync all of the information for the model. I can come down and I can sync just by category. I can sync just the ADs or sync just the maintenance publications. So you have lots of granularity depending on how much content you want. I can bring down everything for the manufacturer. I can bring down and store locally everything for an aircraft model. I can bring down for that model all of the pubs documents for a particular type, or I can go the bottom one down here to an individual publication. This is the first AD that's showing underneath there. I can sync just that AD. So you have the ability to store the content at the level you want, and then it will be synced into the system. Once you have selected some of those to sync, you click the little Run Sync icon up here. It will then give you a list of what's been marked to sync, so you can verify that to sync it. Click the sync button and it'll download the content onto your device. When you go look in my library after content's been brought onto the device, in this case I brought down everything for the 7 ACA, you'll see a little icon here that shows this content has been synced and is available on the device offline. You can also add files to your sync list from the Aviation Hub. Very similar to what we just saw on the mobile device. When you open your My Library and your Aviation Hub, you've got the action gear over on the right hand side here. If you click on the action gear for the model, you can sync the model. If I open the model, and again you'll have an action gear for publication types or individual publications, just as we did on mobile one slide back. You can select the whole aircraft, you can select a category, or you can select an individual publication to be synced to your mobile device. Once it has been synced, you'll see this little icon over here. While it's waiting to be synced, it's a little icon of a circle with a pencil. Once it has been synced, it's a checkbox. So you can manage what goes onto your sync list both in the hub and on mobile. What's great is having on a mobile is if you're off traveling, you have internet connection, you can resync content at any point in time. Finally, the last area I want to talk about is syncing by physical media. If you have a notebook or a tablet or a phone that is offline all the time, you're never going to get access, but you want to bring your library on that device, you can send information by physical media. And what happens is the admin will come into your system and log in and go to the mobile user. So you'll want to look at the user settings and verify that the mobile user has the application turned on for them. Below that, in the user settings box, below your list of libraries is registered mobile device information. And if when they downloaded the application to the device, when the device did have internet connectivity initially, and they downloaded the app and they registered it, it will show here. But if it wasn't registered, there's a link right here to register a new device. So if you click that register new device, you'll get a pop-up here asking for the device ID, the device name, secret code, what type of device it is, whether it uses physical media for backup or not, and the pins for login. The device ID and the secret code are on the device. Have the user go to the device and select this import, register via import, and you'll get a grid that'll show here that'll list that information. So all you have to do is type it in. Device ID and secret code will show there. Device name is a text name you want to identify the device. Operating system, of course, is the operating system, and the PIN is the PIN that the user wants to use to log in. Once you have a device registered, at the far right there's again an action gear to bring up the menus, and you have some choices here. So You can view the content that's listed to sync for that user. You can create a library backup file to send to that user. And I'll cover the rest of these in a minute. I've clicked on the Create Library Backup file, and this window down here opens. It shows content that's marked for sync. So this information for the 7 ACA was already set to sync and will continue to be updated. I can mark additional content. So as the admin for the remote user, I can define what content I want to send them on their sync list here. It lists already content that's already been synced, and importantly, the expiration date that this content, because being it's off-site, it's not going to be updated until another physical media is going to be sent out. So what's the expiration date you want on the content so that the person's not using old content. Create backup will then create a file that you can copy to a SIM card or other type of device and send to the other device. So once you've created that device, you'll send it off to that user, and on the next screen there's a Restore Backup tab down at the bottom that gives you these three options. Import library will import the sync list from that physical media. Import and export profile will cover in the profile training. Okay, let me back up one slide to the rest of this drop down. Discard library backup is if you send a backup to a person, maybe lost the machine, lost the phone, it broke. For some reason, you don't want that content anymore on that remote device. So you click on Discard Library Backup, and it will remove that information from the license and free it up for another device. Export import profiles here are again will be covered in the profile class. Unregister a device would be to, again, if the phone got lost or stolen, you could unregister it here so that it doesn't take up a license or edit information for the device. But once this backup has been made, it gets mailed off to the user. The user receives it. He goes to the import library file. It'll seek that file and it'll update the device to the latest content. So what we learned, what we talked about today, is that the app works on phones, tablets, and laptops using the Windows app. Windows, iOS, and Android are the operating systems that will run on those. You can view My Library content online or sync it for offline access. You scroll or use the TOC to navigate the documents. If the user is totally disconnected, you can update by physical media. And it includes, the mobile app is included with all of your libraries at no charge. So I hope this helped review the new mobile application, some of the features and functions and how it's used. Don't hesitate to give us a call. Our customer care guys are trained on this and be glad to help you out. And with that, I'll say Bob out.